Hi, it's Tilty Carlson here. I love me a good Western, but around the mid-70s, Westerns became far less prevalent of a film genre than they once were. They used to crank out so many Westerns so quickly that they were one of the most dominant film genres, and ever since around the mid-70s or so, they've been far more infrequent than they were in the past. But every now and then, a new Western comes out that strikes gold. In the early mid-90s, we got this movie here, which is making its 4K Ultra High-Def debut. Tombstone, starring Val Kilmer and Kurt Russell. I'm going to unbox this 4K release and share my opinions. This is the first time the movie's gotten a 4K release. It is in a very nice Steelbook package. Here's the top of the backing card, spine text, back of the backing card. Under the backing card, we have the U.S. Deputy Marshal star. That looks very nice. There is a digital code of the film here. And on the back, of course, ads for the various digital outlets. We get our 4K disc of the film, of course, newly remastered. And we have a Blu-ray disc that includes the film and the bulk of the bonus features. The Blu-ray is the new master as well. It's not just a port over of the older disc. But under here, we have a shot of the principal cast together. That looks very nice. Justice is coming. Wyatt Earp's plans to retire anonymously in Tombstone, Arizona are disrupted by the kind of outlaws he was famous for eliminating and results in the legendary gunfight at the OK Corral. Tombstone, of course, came out in a time when Westerns had largely fallen out of style, but this was a movie that showed Westerns might actually still have some gas in the tank. Of course, the previous year we'd gotten the film Unforgiven from Clint Eastwood, and that showed that there was certainly still a market for well-made Westerns. Unforgiven actually won Best Picture at the Academy Awards. Sadly, Tombstone, despite being a very good film in its own right, was nominated for absolutely no Oscars, and it's certainly criminal when you consider the talent involved on both sides of the camera. Of course, Kurt Russell stars in the film as the legendary lawman Wyatt Earp, who wants nothing more than to retire and go into a nice, quiet life. Of course, as soon as he gets in town, he does what's necessary to secure an interest in one of the local saloons. His brother Virgil is portrayed by Sam Elliott. And of course, Virgil starts to see what's wrong in the town and thinks that they should do something about it, whereas Wyatt's more interested in retirement. And you get a great who's who of actors here, including Val Kilmer in a career-defining performance playing Doc Holliday, a man who unfortunately is dying of tuberculosis and wants nothing more than to try to live his life the best way he can in company of his friends. He gets some of the movie's best scenes, and knowing what happened to Val Kilmer not so long ago, these scenes are eerily prolific. In some ways, it almost kind of reminds me of that one scene he gets in Top Gun Maverick. And again, I miss the guy every day. He gave us some great performances, and this is certainly one for the ages. The supporting cast here is no less excellent. I mean, you have everyone from Thomas Hayden Church to Michael Rooker. You even have Buck Taylor of Gunsmoke fame in a minor role, and even a minor cameo of sorts from the late great Charlton Heston. I mean, I could go through and name off everyone that's in this movie, and I could probably still miss people, but it was very well cast. And of course, production design is top-notch. The setting of the town of Tombstone is very well put together. We really get an idea of the kind of despair that's going on in this town with the outlaws running loose. The gang, known simply as the Cowboys, continues to wreak havoc and try to rule the town, and Wyatt Earp, of course, is reluctantly pulled back into the conflict, but before long he finds himself with a big target on his back as a result. Him fighting alongside his brothers and Doc Holliday have to try to bring the town to justice. But one thing I like about Tombstone is even though it is a Western, it certainly has some violent scenes, particularly in its latter act. The movie's not afraid to be a drama when it has to be as well. It does take the time to develop its characters, its situations, its settings, and it's a much stronger product as a result. Every actor and actress who's in this movie, they give it their all, and I'm happy to say that these performances certainly stand the test of time a good 3 decades plus later. I won't deny the movie does have some problems, namely the fact that there's simply too much going on and way too many characters. Again, I understand they wanted to try to get as much of this mythology on the big screen as possible. I can't speak for historical accuracy because obviously I wasn't alive in the 19th century, but what's on the screen certainly did entertain me. It probably could have used a little more trimming and streamlining. Tombstone was a movie that showed that Westerns still had the potential to be a great genre. It's a well-made movie, and the fact that it received not even one Oscar nomination truly is criminal. Tombstone has been released in both its theatrical cut and director's cut over the years. This is the shorter theatrical cut of the movie, so just giving you a heads up there, although this probably is my preferred cut of the two. Tombstone had come out on Blu-ray back around 2010. That release got really mixed reviews because it clearly had some degree of sharpening, grain management, edge enhancement. But this transfer is a lot more natural looking. The first thing you'll notice about this movie, it is pretty soft looking, but again, that's just because of how the movie was shot. I'm glad to see it without any grain manipulation, sharpening, processing. This is natural Tombstone on film as it was meant to look, with no unwanted enhancements. Don't come in here expecting a razor-sharp movie. You will get something natural and filmic, and of course the addition of HDR certainly gives it that nice extra punch in both the lighter scenes and the darker scenes. As a longtime fan of Tombstone, I'm certainly not disappointed with what I see here. Bonus features are relegated to the Blu-ray disc, and sadly there's nothing new here. It's just a relatively limited assortment of the supplements that we've got in prior releases. So, well, I'm glad it's not a bare bones release. There's not a whole lot here that you haven't seen before. You've probably got all these bonus features on this movie before if you've ever bought it in the past. Still, overall, the picture quality here is top notch, and the movie's entertaining as ever. If you have a chance to pick up Tombstone on 4K, I can very highly recommend this release. How about you? Are you a fan of Tombstone? Is this your favorite Western that's come out in the past 3 or 4 decades or so? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos, and make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.